Hey guys, it's Core Ross and welcome to the 6 News Roundup. Today we're rounding up all the information that was given out in the Year 6 reveal livestream. So let's begin with the Year 6 roadmap. Season 1 is bringing us an Argentine operator who is called Flores. I've got a full video out on the Core Ross channel actually going over him, but here's his loadout and he has an explosive drone. He's an attacking operator. And then for Season 2, we are getting a Nokada operator. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's a tribe from North America, originally from like United States area and Canada, but they are now reduced down to just a small area in Canada. So this will be an interesting operator for Season 2. They say this kind of ties into their background, so I'm thinking potentially something quite low tech, could be kind of trackery or something trap based maybe. But this could be an interesting operator for Season 2. Then we go on to Season 3 and 4, which actually go into Europe, where we're going to be getting a Croatian operator and then in Season 4, a Irish operator. So this will be a lot of fun to see these operators come in. Of course, only 4 for the entire year. And the developers are also removing the year pass, so you won't have to buy that anymore. Instead, it's going to be all tied into the battle pass, but I'll get onto that shortly. Now, maps, we're getting only reworks this year. Unfortunately, no new maps. I know a lot of people would love a new map, but we're only getting reworks. So for Season 1, we're getting a rework of Border. For Season 2, we're getting a rework of Favela. I think people will be excited to see that. However, Favela is going to be a casual only rework, like the new house was as well. Then for Season 3, we are getting multiple map reworks. However, they will be small. So there'll be like little tweaks here and there. And that could be maps that have already been reworked and they're just getting improved again. So we're going to see a bunch of them get improved for Season 3. And then in Season 4, there's going to be a rework to Outback, which will be bringing this map up to competitive levels. So this will be in casual and in ranked. Then we're getting our usual special event every season, and we're going to get 2 arcade playlists every season as well. So that'll be like Golden Gun and such, but hopefully also brand new game modes there as well. Then we've got core gameplay features which are going to upgrade over the year as well. So there's some major changes which we'll get into shortly, and there's also going to be operator reworks coming out along the year too. So that is the Year 6 roadmap. Let's move on to more information. So the Year 6 pass doesn't exist. There is no year pass. Instead, the brand new operator will actually be locked into the battle pass. So if you buy the premium version of the battle pass when the new season goes live, the very first unlock you will get is the brand new operator. And they've got an example here of what it would have looked like in the previous season with Aruni. You would have bought the battle pass and then actually got her as the battle pass item. And they also told us that the battle pass is not going to go up in price. It's actually going to remain exactly the same price. So overall, you should end up actually spending less money because you're not having to buy that year pass anymore. And if you want to bypass the battle pass altogether, you can still pick up the operator with Renowned, but it'll be 2 weeks later rather than 1. And I know that a lot of people do get confused with this early access type thing, but it's not like early access to the new season or anything. It's just simply the operator is locked for 2 weeks. Then 2 weeks later, you can unlock with Renowned that operator rather than actually using money to buy the battle pass. Now, when the first season of Year 6 launches, there's going to be a bunch of new things getting added in with that season. First of all, we've got the Gun 6. This is a secondary gadget which fires explosive rounds. However, it actually fits into a pistol slot in the operator loadout, so you can take it instead of your pistol. Now, it is limited to certain operators and it only comes with a single shot, but it's going to be great for taking out bulletproof gadgets and deployable shields. Now, the operators that can take it that was in my preview build was Glaz, Dokkaebi, Lion, Finka, Gridlock, Amaru, Yana, and Zero. And some of those operators will lose weapon choices in order to gain this. So for instance, you would usually be able to pick from 2 SMGs with Dokkaebi, the C75 Auto or the SMG-12. Now it's either the SMG-12 or the Gun 6, which means you no longer get the C75 as an option. But not only that, Finka and Dokkaebi have lost frag grenades and have gained flashbangs. Now we're going to get a brand new feature with the new season, and that is match replays. It is going to come in a beta form. It's been alpha on the test server, it is now going up to beta, and it's going to be PC only at this point, but it will be coming to live servers on PC with Crimson Heist. Another feature that's going to be coming with Season 1 is Streamer Mode. Now this may not launch with Season 1, it may come with like a mid-season patch, but it is expected to be in Season 1 at some point. What this is going to do is make it so you can play more anonymously. So it'll hide names, regions, pings. It'll hide everyone else from you, so you aren't able to like see what their names are. They aren't able to see what your name are. It'll also put in a random kind of matchmaking delay so that stream sniping will be harder. It'll hide clearance level. It'll hide profile images. I expect on consoles, it'll probably disable that button that allows you to view someone's profile as well. So this will be coming with the thing, and it's going to be great for streamers, but also if you're routinely DDoS attacked as well, it'll probably be useful for you on console too, but we'll see. Then we've also got the reputation system, which is going to be able to kind of rank your toxicity. Either you're going to be a positive player, a neutral player, or a negative player. If you're in the positive, you will get special rewards, but if you drop down to neutral, you will lose those rewards. And if you go down to negative, you will actually get sanctions against you and messages letting you know why you've been sanctioned and stuff like that. Now let's talk about core gameplay changes. So there's some significant stuff coming with Year 6. And I just want to reiterate what I'm about to show you is going to be mostly future content of Year 6. There will be potentially some of this stuff in Season 1, but most of it is going to be in future seasons. Now this will probably end up on a test server to begin with during the year, but this stuff is huge and is going to significantly change how the game is played. Let's start with observation tools. So of course, normally you will set up your drone, you'll go in, you will die, and then you have to just go on the cams or the drones and look around, and you can maybe help your teammates, or you can tab out at that point and start, watching YouTube videos or something. Well, not anymore. So if you have drones on the map, when you die, you can now drive them around when you're dead. So you're going to be able to actually observe and interact with those tools. And if you're a Maestro, an Echo, or a Twitch, you will actually be able to fire off your gadget's weapons as well, or abilities. So Echo can sonic people, and of course Maestro can actually shoot them with the lasers, which means Maestro could potentially kill people when he's already dead. Potentially utterly change how a game is played. But also for people like Maestro and Echo, that could be significant buffs, because if both your drones are still up, you will actually be able to drive them around. You'll be able to interact with them. You'll be able to do stuff with them. That is significant. And I'll just reiterate, that's your own drones and gadgets. You cannot go and control someone else's on the team that's dead. It is just your personal stuff that you can now control, reposition, and that is massive. Another thing that's massive is that what the developers want to do is shift the balance of power. Right now it's a little bit towards the defenders. They want to push it quite significantly towards the attackers. And one of the ways they're going to do this is in the preparation phase, when you are droning out an objective and seeing how the defenders are set up, you will actually be able to change operator during the prep phase on attack. So you can be like, oh, they've got a bandit, so I'm going to bring Thatcher instead of whatever I was bringing. Or maybe they don't have a bandit and you're like, oh, I don't need to bring Thatcher, I'm going to bring someone else. So you can actually change operator to someone else during the prep phase. That is significant. And like I say, these changes may appear on the test server first and get tested out. And they're going to use the test server for doing a lot of tests this year for testing kind of wacky ideas that they may introduce or may not. But the stuff they're talking about here should end up in the game at some point this year. Now another big change is armor values. So of course you have your 1 armor, 2 armor, 3 armor, or if you want to look at the other way around, it's 3 speed, 2 speed, 1 speed. Well, that is becoming much more visual now, because they are actually changing the health of operators. So a 3 speed will have 100 health, a 2 speed will have 120 health, and a 3 armor or a 1 speed will have 140 health. So it's more visible that you can actually see that you have a lot more health. It's basically all they've done is the usual damage reduction from armor is gone, and instead your health has gone up with that armor. So you'll kind of feel like you can take fights a little bit differently from what you did before, even though it'll roughly be very similar. And then of course we're also getting operator reworks over the course of year 6 as well. The biggest one that they showed off was that of Goyu. He no longer has a special deployable shield. Instead, it's actually back to his original concept that they talked about when they were playing around with, the Goyu concept back before he ended up becoming a real operator. It is just basically a gas canister with some armor on it now that you slap down on the ground. Now this is still in prototype, so this is not the final version of what we'll actually see later in the year, but you can get an idea of what's going to happen here. We're going to have this thing that you can place down and it will be able to be shot or detonated with like other gadgets like cap cans or nitro cells or stuff. So it's going to be a more versatile device to put down, and as such could see some interesting kind of combos with like Maestro and stuff. And it's also not as obvious to the attackers that there's a big shield sitting in the doorway. So that's a rework to Goyu that will come out later this year. We've also got a rework to Melusi, which is a pretty significant nerf, which is when it starts to slow down an attacker, it'll begin to open and then you can just shoot it. So it becomes, basically becomes weak as it slows you down and you can destroy it. In the gameplay they show off, it is super quick to do. So big nerf for her here, but that might mean she can get more of the gadgets perhaps to balance her out. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out too for that rework. They also mentioned that they're looking to change Maestro and Mira. The way they're going to go about this is that you'll be able to walk up to those gadgets and melee them. Now, of course, that doesn't destroy the gadgets, but it'll smash the glass. So a Mira window will suddenly become harder to look through and a Maestro turret will not be usable. That actually Maestro will have to open the glass to actually see out, which of course will make his turret much more vulnerable. And then two other operators that are earmarked for reworks is Fuse and Finka, but there's no information on what changes we'll be seeing with those two. And then let's move on to the behind the scenes changes when it comes to the tech. So first of all, servers are being upgraded with new hardware. They're going to have better connectivity and they're going to have better tools for figuring out issues. They're also going to be linking into social media. So for instance, if you post on Twitter and say, I just had a bad game of Rainbow Six Siege where connectivity issues were a problem, or I got disconnected, or I had this problem, then they're going to be able to instantly look up that game, see what happened and say, oh yeah, in that game it was a DDoS attack, or in that game there was a connection issue with a certain point. They'll be actually give you feedback on exactly that game, exactly why you got disconnected, and that could be very useful. Now, they're also going to be massively reducing the game size. This is apparently making it so that, say for instance on console, you'll be able to take up a fraction of the size of your hard drive space that it currently takes up, making it very easy just to download this as a game and keep it downloaded, because you won't have to worry about massive updates and massive amounts of space being taken up by Rainbow Six Siege. I'm curious to see how much smaller it's actually going to get, but apparently it'll be significantly smaller. Now let's move on to cosmetics. So we're going to be able to get customizable elite uniforms. This means, normally you'd have to just put on an elite uniform and that's it. You can't really do anything with it. Well, now you can change out the headgear. You can change out the uniform. So you can have a completely different uniform and headgear on, but you still have the elite animation at the end. So you can really get customizing it to your heart's content. We've also got a crossover with an elite for Zofia, which actually brings in the Resident Evil IP. So this is going to be very cool, and it's a new elite for her. And we also got a little teaser for a Rick and Morty crossover as well, which is just simply this little picture of a portal, but this means that we're going to have some sort of crossover with Rick and Morty. Either it could be an elite skin, but I think it'll probably end up being a special event, and I can't wait to see what they might do with that. So let's end with just kind of hitting on a few different things and a few things that I haven't quite mentioned yet. So we've got the new secondary gun, which basically replaces like a pistol or something if you want to take it on some operators, which fires a single explosive round. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays in. We've got the match replay system coming to PC. We have an upgrade to the newcomer playlist, which is just meant to make it a bit easier for players to move into the game. We have changes to mute jammers. So these are actually going to be able to jam not just like gadgets like drones and stuff like that, but also like claymores. And for instance, this could mean that mute could be used for jump outs, because he could have one spare, mute jammer on him, and he goes to a window, he slaps it down, jamming the claymore on the other side so he can jump out safely. The developers also mentioned they're looking to change ranked and matchmaking in general. Now, I don't know what they're actually going to do here, but they're trying to make it fairer. I have no clue what they're doing because they haven't explained any of it, so we can only guess at this point. I would imagine something that they might be able to do just as a simple thing would be that, if there's a player in, say, the newcomer matchmaking and he's got like a 20 KD, then probably just kick him out of there and put him up into normal matchmaking or something like that. Or if you're playing casually and maybe again you've got people who are just massive KD differences to the other team members, possibly that would be an indication they can balance it out better in the next match. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but that is going to change. They are looking at changing matchmaking and how ranked works, so we'll see. Another thing is a rework of the in-game menus. Now, in the version I played that was in early access, it has the normal menus, nothing special, but they showed off some examples of what this is going to look like in the future. It's a kind of cleaner, more modern look, and it kind of hopefully is easier and better to use. It still follows the same principles, but it's more streamlined. So we'll see how that, whenever it does show up, either if it's this season or next, we'll see if that actually makes any significant difference. But hopefully maybe it'll at least be a snappier interface. But anyway guys, that's a big rundown of stuff we're getting in year 6. Some of it's coming with season 1 and some of it will roll out throughout the year, and maybe even some of it will go on to year 7, we'll see. But anyway guys, let me know what you think of all this in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time.